Right, I'm going to start the recording. I'm going to welcome everybody. Hello, my name is Jody Kahn. And let me just check about muting and I'm having a little, okay. I would just like to introduce myself. My name is Jody Kahn, and I am a certified health coach and certified social worker, but health coach does come first, with Take Shape for Life. It's really my pleasure to host this call this evening. And for those who have been on the call before, obviously, you all know that my coach and mentor, Miriam Khan, is basking in the sunshine in Cancun tonight, along with the other Miriam, as they've won an incentive trip for Take Shape for Life. So it really is my honor and pleasure to host while they get to really enjoy and keep their life in balance with reducing their stress, enjoying their time away, and giving us the opportunity to be together tonight. So just a quick review. The purpose of the Zoom call, as you know, is really to provide support and encouragement for all clients, no matter where they are in their health journey. It's a way for us to kind of be together and really have a like-minded community, all who are interested in creating better health. So this call, excuse me while I just
Jody, if you want me to handle the controls, if you want to turn it over to me, I don't mind doing that.
Okay, I just muted everybody. Okay, thanks, Mary. So getting back to the purpose of the call is for really all of us to share together. So since this is a web call, it is important, just a little bit of etiquette, to remember that because we are seeing most of us, to try to, keep still, try to be conference friendly. Please don't take it personally if I mute you. It is an interactive call, and during the call, I really would love to have participation. Everyone, to please take note, if you're unfamiliar, if this is new to you, that on the bottom of your screen, you can hit chat, so you can privately pass comments to other participants as well as to me. Also, and along with this Zoom call, which is weekly, we do have Facebook groups to please speak to your coach about, as well as habits of health calls, nurses calls, doctors calls, a wonderful, wonderful supports. So to get started for tonight, our topic is Shift Happens, changing your focus from the D word to health. I picked this topic because it's one that often comes up for clients along their health journey. And I'm finding that no matter where you're on the health journey, this shift really needs to happen in order to create our optimal health. So please grab a piece of paper and pen. You may want to jot some things down. And remember, after tonight's meeting, if you're shy, please feel free to answer or to put any questions in the chat box. So I would like to begin tonight with just a really quick and brief introduction around the screen, because we do have some new faces along with some more experienced, longer term faces. And so if you can briefly, I'm going to unmute everybody or as we go. And if we need to kind of mute yourself and unmute yourself so you can participate, I would kind of just like to hear quickly just your name, where you're from, and a very brief non-scale success. So let me begin by, actually, it's probably best if one by one we unmute. So Lenny, would you like to begin?
Sure. My name is Lenny. I live in New Jersey. Non-scale success was probably today. I was had a crazy morning with it not looking like it was going to let up at all this afternoon. And I finally said, if I don't get out of the office, I am not going to get anything done this afternoon. And I went to the gym. And I came back and I actually got a lot of work done. So it was a break that I needed.
Awesome. Ginny, I see you smiling. Would you like to join in?
Yes, I would. I'm Jenny from Oregon. So happy to be back in Oregon. When I was a non-scale victory. Well, my family had not seen me for 2.5 years. And when I see it was worth everything. I've lost over, gee, Mary, I don't know it anymore. Right now I'm about 33 pounds down. And that look of shock and open mouth was worth everything.
Awesome.
But I was very happy. Made me very happy. So thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Rather than me picking, I'm kind of guessing. Anyone want to chime in? You can either raise your hand electronically or raise your hands or just unmute. Ooh, a quiet crowd tonight.
Okay, I'll go. Am I on mute?
You're unmuted.
Okay, so I'm Andrea. I'm from Long Island. I guess, I don't know if this is what you guys are talking about, but like this weekend I was up at Woodlock, and I don't know if you guys all know what Woodlock is, but they have an amazing crumb cake. And Jeanette would be very proud of me that I did not eat any. And it was on the table. So I think that that was a very successful thing for me to do, because I was very worried about, and I didn't drink or anything. So I think that that was very good, especially with the people that I was with.
Andrea, that is awesome, and welcome aboard to our first meeting. That is exactly what we're looking for, the non-scale victories, those things that the behaviors, the opportunities that you could have gone one way or the other, and you chose the way that supports your long-term goal. So good for you. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else?
Hi.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Rosemary, you're next. Go ahead, Darlene.
My non-scale victory is I made it on Zoom tonight. Woo! Oh my God, I just came from Barnes & Noble's. My daughter was singing there tonight in Westbury. So I was trying so hard to get home in time so I could be on the Zoom call. But one of my biggest non-scale victories I posted on the Facebook page, so many of you probably have already read it, and that's that I had lost another 8 inches from December to now. So that's a total loss of 26 inches since I've started this program.
Wow.
Awesome. That's great, Darlene. Thank you. Maybe we'll take 2 more. Rosemary, did you want to? Yep, go ahead. You want to unmute yourself? I gotcha. There you go. You're unmuted. Oh, now you're muted. There you go.
Hi, I'm Rosemary from Long Island, and I'm a chocoholic. So my real victory is that I've been saying no to my Valentine's candy that's sitting on my coffee table. And I have another one, and that's I'm also a night owl, and I've been getting my 7 hours of sleep every night, and I'm very proud of that.
Wow,
So,
that's awesome.
yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Anybody else? Any of our telephones want to speak up? You can unmute yourself as well. Okay. Well, thank you for that sharing. You know, with hearing those successes, what it gets me to really think about what happens for us that we could go from focusing on, let's say, like Rosemary just said, wanting to have that chocolate that's sitting in front of her, to saying, you know what, I don't want that chocolate. And that's that perspective shift that we're really talking about, the diet shift, or the D word as I called it, versus the focus on health. And so how we think about things is so key to moving forward. Here's my glass, right? Actually, it's pretty high. I should really be drinking it. But we can call this like a quarter empty, right? Or we can call it 3/4 full. If I call it a quarter empty, it's not going to be the same thing as 3/4 full, which I love to have a full cup, but I am trying to empty it these days. So what happens? What can we do to help make that shift, happen? Hands for a moment. How many people are in the beginning of their journey? Let's say in the beginning of the 5 and 1, going for their healthy weight loss. Can I see a set of hands of those people that are more in the beginning of their journey? Those, okay. And what about those kind of in the middle, maybe nearing transition? Any hands there? Okay, I see Bergman. I'm not sure what your first name is. Say that again. Cindy. So you're nearing transition.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Anybody else? Darlene, also nearing transition. So for you two ladies, I'd like to ask you, if you don't mind contributing, do you feel that that shift has happened for you? Going from that, let's say, D word to diet, which really is what the 5-in-1 is. It's a structured meal program, like many out there. Do you feel that your mindset has shifted from focusing on the 5-in-1 to focusing on what really matters most to you?
Yes, and there's also a lot of fear involved.
Yes, and I'm going to address that. So would you mind sharing, Cindy, what how that happened for you?
Okay, so I had lost quite a bit of weight on my own before I even heard about Take Shape for Life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've lost, since Thanksgiving, I've lost about another 12 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was at 12 pounds higher for about 3 years, I'd say, and I thought that was as far as I could go. And then Take Shape for Life, I took the last 12 pounds off. So, I'm nervous about, like, I do more at this point of like a 3 and 2. 3 and 2?
3 and 3 maybe? Or 4 and 2?
4 and 2, yeah. I do more of like a 4 and 2, like I have a lunch and dinner and whatever. And sometimes I'll, you know, I don't know if I'm answering your question right. I'm like, my mind's going all over the place. The bottom line is I still rely on the meals for...
Right, wait, maybe I can help you. I think with the focus was not as much on the food, but in terms of your mindset, do you find yourself...
Oh, definitely.
Right?
There are times when I look at something and if I'm not in the mood, I am just not in the mood. Like we went out for our anniversary and I said, oh, I'll order dessert. And I ordered a dessert and it just was not... I took a bite of it and there's just no way it was worth it. And I just didn't eat it.
Do you recall what your thinking was? Like, they're not worth it. I love how you said that. It wasn't worth it because...
Didn't taste that good.
Yeah.
And I've also had the experience of every time thinking, oh my God, you know, I really want to eat that. And then after I eat it, I just don't feel good.
Anybody else feel the same way?
And I'm
Can
like...
I see hands? Yeah.
It's just, I really, you know, like I keep telling people, eat for fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Eat for fuel instead of what makes you want to drool. You know, it's like you're drooling over something and then you eat it and it's like, I just don't feel that great after.
Right. Love that.
It's still challenging in restaurants or something, but 9 times out of 10, it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, love that. So it went from you kind of focusing on how delicious something might taste to really how you feel. And that was a shift for you.
And also that it's not so, you know, if it's really delicious, I'll eat it and I'll enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not that delicious, it's not
Right.
worth it.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else feel the same way? Is that happening for them? Yeah. So the thing is, I find that going from dieting to the health perspective is really that shift of feeling different and wanting to feel different more, getting focused on your goals that go past what the food is. But by using the meal replacements, which is a structured program, it allows us to have kind of quick results, feel good, learn what it feels like to feel good, and then want something more than that. Does that resonate with you? You know, I was talking with Cindy before the call, and we mentioned the importance of habit and how sometimes we think about things and it's habitual, really. Cindy, can you speak to that and add to this?
Yeah. But before I even go there, I'll be there in 1 minute, Jody. I just want to comment on what Cindy said. I think that probably everybody I've spoken to who's been doing the 5-in-1 for a while and then eats something, anything that we might call in the junk department, says the same thing. My body wasn't happy. And I think that that lesson, that you feel it. You actually feel the difference when you're putting junky fuel into your body as compared to putting in the good fuel. So, I mean, it's happened to me, and I've heard it from so many people. But coming to the habit thing, it's so fascinating to me that I keep reading so many books, and a lot of them are, aside from Dr. A's Habits of Health, which just spells out how we need healthy habits. But I have been reading, I'll show you, this one called The Power of Habit. And it is beyond what I can even really understand. Just to give you a little clip, a fellow had brain damage, couldn't recognize his adult children because of the damage that he had. But yet he was able to be taught a habit, took a long time, but he was able to be taught a habit to make certain behaviors, and he didn't consciously know that he could do it. And they asked him, how are you doing it? And he said, I can't tell you. So a researcher used this gentleman because he had no short-term memory. They were curious. And what they're proving is that our habits are very unconscious. Once they become a habit, and we do it by rote, we've all experienced that hypnotic driving. You do things by rote. So on the 5-in-1, hopefully we're building habits to fuel our body more frequently, habits to have breakfast right away, habits to move more. All of these things take this thing that a lot of people see initially as a diet and change it into a life-changing event because of small habits that are built. And I personally think that that's just such a big benefit of what happens in this Take Shape for Life program. And it spills over, as much as you let it, into just enhancing your life in so many ways that bring you more health, physically, mentally, and if you're coaching, whichever way you go, you can just keep expanding your own growth through new habits.
Excellent.
So welcome to it, everybody. Enjoy it. Keep taking as much as you can day by day from it, and it just grows.
Yes, love that, Cindy. Thank you so much. And I think you're right. I so agree with you in terms of the structured meal program, for sure. Adding these Zooms, like Darlene said earlier, that was her success. I texted with her earlier. She didn't expect to make it, and that has been one of her healthy habits that she has added to support herself in her journey and allow herself to really make those shifts happen. It goes way beyond the food. And, okay. Does anybody have any questions or any thoughts, any shares?
Jody, I just wanted to add something.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on the program now for 6 months, and I've been doing the 5-in-1 all along. Just recently, I switched to the 4-in-2, not because of really that I was ready to transition, but more because my body needed more fuel because I've been exercising so vigorously. And that's been working a little bit better for me. But like I told my husband the other night, I feel like I need to confess my sins. 6 months, and I didn't have, and I followed that program to the T. I mean, across every T, dotted every I. I never strayed from this program at all. Through Halloween, Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas, New Year's. Very, very challenging, but yet I stuck to the program and did not sway at all. But for whatever reason, the other day on Saturday, my son had gotten these chocolate chip cookies, and I don't know. I had one, and it was probably the first time I've had anything like that in so long. And I started eating this cookie, and I said to myself, I kind of remember this tasting a lot better than this. And I'm like, it doesn't really taste the same. And then I'm like, I don't know, it was disappointing, because like all along I kept saying to myself, It's not going to be forever. I'm going to be able to eat again. I'm going to be able to have that. I'm going to be able to eat my macaroni. I'm going to be, it's going to come to an end at some point, and I'm going to get to have all these things again. When I finally, for whatever reason, gave myself permission to have this cookie, and it was a letdown, I gotta tell you. It was such a letdown, because for all this time, and even though I've been choosing, and I strongly make the choice, or use the word choice, I've been choosing not to eat this cookie all along throughout all these holidays. And I chose to eat my baked brownie and bar instead while everybody ate whatever. I chose to have the cookie, and for the first time in 6 months, and it was, I don't know. And in one way, I felt like I had to confess my sins, because I felt like, the old me would have been like, you're not perfect. You didn't do it perfectly. You strayed from the plan now, and this is so bad. But it's not so bad. It's a cookie, and I ate it, and it wasn't that good. And I didn't want another one after that. So it's not the same me, because the same me, the old me, would have had 5 more, regardless of how good or bad that cookie was. I still would have ate more, and I didn't. I had the cookie. I'm done. I'm not, whatever. And life goes on, and we're back to the 4 and 2.
Awesome. Thanks, Darlene, so much for that share. So honest and so clear. And can everyone relate to that?
Ginny.
Ginny, go ahead.
Oh, yes. Darlene, as I listen to you, I understand. For me, I was back east for 8 days, and I really realized how much I have let food, all kinds of food, have this enormous power over my life. And it is just food. It is just food. There were times I went shopping and fixed dinner for my family, and I thought, I don't want this, I don't want this, I want something good, I want something organic, I want this, and purchased that and made good meals. But before, I would have just inhaled going down the aisle just to get through the store, just to be able to make it. And it is a wake-up call, or it is quite an awareness when you do eat that first thing after what you said for 6 months. You were faithful and strict, and you did the program faithfully and beautifully, that it is a true letdown when you eat that thing that you used to love, and it's like, blech, when it used to have a whole, you think about, I'm going to go back and eat this, when I lose all my weight, and it's like, no, it just doesn't do it for me anymore. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So thank you for sharing that. I thank you.
And thank you, Jenny.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cindy.
But that's kind of the blessing that our body is giving us. I get it. We've all had those things that we thought tasted great, but we were kind of under the spell of the junk food, and our taste buds change, and maybe we learn along the way, and maybe our brains are cooperating. And if you haven't seen the YouTube video called Sugar, the Bitter Truth, that'll make you feel really, really, that'll change your mind about some of those things. But I think that that's what it is. Our bodies now don't respond the same way. Our taste buds don't respond the same way. And that's a good thing. So even though the fantasy was that, oh my God, this is going to be amazing, well, hopefully other things that we're eating are now the amazing things, and they make you healthy too.
Yes, thanks, Cindy. I agree so much with you. A couple of things I wanted to add that really come to mind for me when hearing all that you're saying, and it's all really so powerful, that the program gives you that ability to kind of detox and cleanse. Then it gives you the ability to kind of not really have to think about food anymore, and really profoundly change your relationship with food. As I forgot who it was that said, fuel, right? It's no longer we're eating merely for pleasure or for medicating or for numbing ourselves, but rather we're eating for fuel. And by eating fuel that is so well balanced, fortified, enriched, structured, and satisfying, low glycemic, we're giving our body that cleansing and that ability to now function in a way that, I don't know about you, but I've never functioned before. And now after doing that, day after day, week after week, for many, month after month, that our bodies really get used to it. Our bodies are quite the miraculous machine. So then we're set up really for success. And we're set up to have a very different relationship with food, which then I really feel, and I've lived, gives the ability to make these choices and to shift the perspective in order to eat that which serves you, behave in a way which serves you. Not perfectly, like Darlene said, and like we all know. And that's a topic that we covered a month or two ago, perfection versus process and progress. But rather to really trust in the process and use the structure, use your desire for your starting point, trust in the system. And this is really a system that works. And when you follow it, you feel different, your mind starts to think different, you want different, you focus differently, and along the way you've accrued a whole toolkit, a whole tool belt full of tools to help you learn how to create healthier habits, like Cindy said, the habits that when you just do them over and over again, they become as automatic as the unhealthy habits that we've all kind of lived a lot of our life with. So that's kind of the last piece I wanted to kind of give you, is to remember that, you know, we all came into the program with desire. I think desire is a key component. I think trust is another piece that we haven't quite underlined, but I know I trusted my sister-in-law, my health coach, the program, to get involved. And that was my starting point. And then I remember trusting again in the system when it was time for transition, like both Cindy and Darlene commented, being a little bit nervous about transition. For those of you who aren't there yet, it is natural to be nervous, to give up the structure, the meal replacements, the control, you know, and that high structure. But this is a system that works. So trusting again in the system and moving forward and following it, and really allowing yourself to dream big, to use a system that works, and to focus on your goals. I think that's really what's going to lead you to success, like you've heard from so many tonight. Thank you all for contributing. We have a couple of minutes left if anybody has any questions or any thoughts to add. I know everyone on this call, I so appreciate you attending, all with such unique, in many ways, unique journeys, and in so many ways, we're all so similar. Robin, please. Go ahead, Robin.
My son sent me a text, a link to an article today, and it actually was about cavities. And that back in the 60s and 70s, you know, there was a task force put together to try to figure out why there were so many cavities. And of course, the root cause they found out was sugar. But yet it was so political that when they put out their guidelines, they did not mention reducing sugar. All they talked about was fluorinating the water, fluorinate, you know, the toothpaste, and, you know, that's still going on today with, let's say, diabetes. You know, you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you, you know, you can go on this kind of medication, that kind of medication, but never talks about really changing your diet, changing your lifestyle. And it's almost like we look at this sugary stuff that, you know, we all want, we're all used to eating. It's, you know, I mean, I know even when I was growing up, it wasn't that available. I mean, you'd have maybe dessert, but, you know, now it just seems like everybody has sugar everywhere all the time. And we've disconnected that from really what it's doing to us. And anyway, I appreciated that he sent me the article, and I just wanted to share.
Thank you.
Could I say something, Jody?
Sure.
I wanted to just add that when I was first starting the program, I think one of the first things that allowed me to make the shift and feel like I found something that was really going to work for me and valuable, aside from the great connection I had with you, my health coach, I think it was reading the books. I think it was really looking at it and seeing the positive framework that this was all put in. It made such a huge difference in my mindset. So even when I was, assessing my own health, I could see in black and white right in front of me where I stood on the spectrum and where I wanted to go. It was just very exciting to me. It really made all the little, things in my brain go off. I was like, wow, this is going to be great. And it was very, very exciting. So I really think, the books are underrated because they're so valuable. If you just even read one chapter or, refer back to it. I see Ginny's picking stuff up. Yes, it's also valuable, even when it comes to, transition and menu plans. It's all right there. There are things that can just fuel you to go through, not just food as fuel, but your mind gets fueled. It's really been very, very helpful to have those things.
It's so well thought out, step by step, on a level that I can understand because I'm not a doctor, that it's like a Bible. It's like a resource, and much more than a resource for me. And I do put a lot of Post-it notes all through it. And I just loved it. I love them. I read them and I absorb them.
Yeah, and even when I look back at the little exercises I did and the notes that I wrote to myself at the time, I look at it like, wow, I did that. I made that goal. And it's really kind of fun. It's exciting.
Yeah. Love that. Thanks, Jeanette. Go ahead.
Jody, hi.
Oh.
I've been finding, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I've been finding that my body is changing in a way, mentally, I feel like, I was having like tofu and vegetables, very, very healthy stuff. And you're actually allowed a lot of tofu. There was, I wasn't really going to be using all of it. It was 14 ounces, which is like a whole package. But inside my brain, it says, okay, you're full now, stop eating. Now, I never had that feeling before. And this is healthy food, which, I probably could have eaten more of it, but something inside my body said, okay, don't eat anymore, you're full. And I said, okay, I guess I'll finish this up later. That would have never ever happened to me before. Most foods from before I started this program, I wanted more and more and more. And even if I was full, I still would eat more and more. And I would just pass that point. And this actually made me behave in a way that I put down the fork. I said, I'm finished. My whole, I don't know if it was a set point in my brain or a set point in my stomach, but the action of me not wanting to put a fork in my mouth, it was very unusual. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing because I know other people that maybe are thinner that don't have that issue. I know it's a problem of mine because I usually can't stop. So, not usually. I'm going to say that in the past, I couldn't stop. I'm on a journey and my metabolism changing. So it's a good thing.
That's awesome. Thank you, Karen, for sharing that. That's great.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rosemary.
Oh, I just wanted to add to Jeanette's about the books. What I found really interesting is to take the health assessment over. When you initially take the Dr. A's health assessment, and you realize what your score is, and you're either non-sick or sick probably, and then you start to look at all the points that you can make your improvements on and maybe make some changes. Go back like a month later, take the assessment again, and see how your score has changed. For myself, I'm at a healthy weight, but I found that I wasn't healthy. I was sick, and I was so surprised by that. But there were so many things that I could make changes just by looking at the health assessment. And so that's, was my driving force to make those changes. And I had my mom take the assessment, and she was just as shocked. She thought she was so much healthier than she was. after taking the assessment, she started to make some changes based on that. It's really easy to do. You can take it online or you can use your book to do it. So I would suggest to do that like regularly, maybe once a month, once every 2 months, and see what progress you've accomplished.
Beautiful. That's great, Rosemary. So it's in the Habits of Health book, which I hope you all own. And if you look inside, it's on page 37. Okay. There's also and it starts on 37. There's also a new well-being assessment that Dr. Anderson has created in the ebook, which is also another wonderful assessment. And I love the point that you're both making, that knowing to know where you're at in a really full sense of the word, and full sense of your whole life picture in terms of your health in all aspects, it gives you the greatest vision to know where you are so that you can determine where it is you want to go and really see the difference. Wonderful. Thank you, ladies.
You know, is it okay? I come from a completely different perspective. I didn't have much of a weight issue, and I was a bodybuilder for many years, and I know a lot about nutrition. But you know what I found really interesting is hit menopause, and it was time for me. I had to figure out how to lose weight, and none of the things that I knew about nutrition or diet or exercise worked at all. For me, it was a real lesson to flow with the river instead of like being rebellious and saying I could do it myself. I really learned a big shift from being a rugged, independent person to recognizing that there were systems out there that work and that can really help me reach my goals and help me be the me that I wanted to be, not just food related, but in all aspects. It was a little bit of a humbling experience to find out that the program worked so well.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Go ahead, Rosemary.
Yeah, I just want to add to Shoshi. My experience was the same. I hit menopause, and it was these rolls around my middle that I've never experienced before. And every day I would try to get dressed and say, well, oh my God, what is this? And it couldn't, no matter what I did, I couldn't get rid of it until I got on to Take Shape for Life. And it was 6 weeks, and I lost 6 inches off my waist, 2 dress sizes, and only 15 pounds. But in the process, I learned so much more than taking those inches off. I learned so much more, and I'm still learning. And I'm grateful to Take Shape for Life and Rich Mioli, my coach, to bring it to me.
Awesome. Thank you. Go ahead, Robin.
Yeah, I want to say, you know, like my transformation has been a kind of a slow, gradual journey. And it's only sometimes when I look back, I see how much progress I've made, because a lot of times I get frustrated with what I haven't done yet. But, you know, when I really look back, you know, I mean, I pretty much always drink my water. I'm always, you know, including some sort of exercise at least 5 times a week. I'm getting my sleep. So, you know, I want it to be, you know, like a transformation that knocks me over. But it's been, you know, it's been a slow journey. But as I said, when I look back, I see I've come a long way.
Excellent. Go ahead, Cindy. I think that we have time.
You know, I just want to quickly say that I can relate to what everybody's saying about postmenopause and those kinds of weight changes. I think we've all heard everybody say that you just age, you get wide, you know, your body changes, your metabolism changes, you're never going to be the weight that you were before. So I was also in a situation where before I started the program, I had lost weight, and I really just did it because I wanted to do it. I wanted to keep my friend company, who was, you know, a client. And I went down to the weight I weighed when I was 25 years old, and I never went back from that. And I said, and I say to everybody now that I talk to, don't believe what they tell you. It has nothing to do with aging, nothing to do with aging. You can, and that's the other beauty of the program. You just can keep getting healthier. It just doesn't stop. You can find more things every day to do to keep yourself in better and better shape.
Go ahead, Mary. Thanks.
Just want to say quickly, I love what Robin said about really adopting a lot of healthy habits. And I always tell myself, it's really hard to be perfect, but if every day we're just a little bit better than we were the day before, then that certainly is something to strive for. And it's very empowering, and it's just really wonderful to be proud of ourselves that little by little we're adopting some of these healthy habits along the way. Because it really is about creating new habits and not so much about getting rid of the old habits.
Absolutely. Well, I don't want to. Oh, Rich, go ahead, Rich.
Yeah,
Before we close.
Lisa Castro. For those of you that don't know, you should look her up. She had a autoimmune disease, and she couldn't even get out off the couch. And she is like super fit at this point in time. She's really, and I'm sure she's post-menopause and everything. I haven't hit that yet, so
Well, that's the thing. I guess my last highlight to that, and to Cindy's point too, like yours, Rich, is, open your mind to the possibilities, because we really got some magic here. And all of you, I congratulate you for being on the call tonight, because layering the support, opening up your mind, using the resources, and all of the tools, from the books to the calls to your health coach, to the books for sure, to the online resources and challenges. It's all of these resources that's going to really help you to kind of really carve that new path, take that new road, open your mind, and just dream. As I say, wave that magic wand, sprinkle the fairy dust, and really start dreaming, because we're going to make it happen. You have the power to. We have a program that really will lead you to wherever it is you want to go. Oh, Susan, you have one last thing you wanted to say?
Yeah. First of all, this has been a great topic. So thank you for that. And thank you everyone who's participating so nicely. And Mary, I have to agree that every day is a strive to be a little bit better than you were. This is a story I want to share that I shared with people on our challenge team. But I know that in the past, pre Take Shape for Life, I wouldn't have ever had this success. I've actually been maintaining my weight for well over a year now, but I had never had pizza. Since I started program with my weight loss.
Oop. Sorry, Susan. Go on. Sorry about that.
What was the last thing you heard?
When you started your journey with your weight loss.
Oh. Okay.
And you had pizza. We heard you had pizza.
I had pizza.
There you go.
This was past Saturday night. My daughter's boyfriend made his own pizza. And it looked really, really good. And like I said, since May of 2013, when I started program, I had never had pizza because it was just something I've stayed away from, and by choice. But this looked really good, and I decided to try a little. And I was actually very, very proud of myself because I did have a little, and it was really, really good. But I stopped after a little. And before this program, that never would have happened. I would have had a lot more than a little. And it was wonderful to learn that I could do that. That was, for me, a really big win. To know that I don't have to be afraid to have something for fear that it will just set me off and there will be no turning back. And there was. And that was, actually, I guess I had my hand raised at the very beginning to share my non-scale victory. This was my non-scale victory of the week. But I love it. It was a big win for me.
Awesome. Thanks, Susan. We should all continue to share our wins week after week. Let them grow, let them inspire. and let them drive you to really where it is that you want to go. Thank you, everyone, for joining tonight, and I hope we'll see you next week.